Hey you guys, it's been a little bit since I've done a tutorial on Finale, and I wanted to show you a quick and easy way that you could make images that you can use for flashcards for students. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do flashcards for beginning orchestra students, the basic notes on their D string. And to start with, I'm going to go File and a new document with the Setup Wizard. And let me go ahead and pull in all of the instruments that I'm going to use for this. So I'm just double clicking on them to add them. And I'm going to go ahead and leave all the rest of this blank for right now, as I really won't be needing it. And all of this blank as well. Go ahead and finish. So what I want to do today is I want to make each individual note its own separate page, that then I can take each of those pages and export them as an image that I could use for a flashcard. And to do this, I want to make sure that every page is going to look the same. And so I'm going to get rid of any of the text items that are here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and grab the text tool, and I can drag across, or I can hit Control A for all, and I've just removed all of my extra text, and I see a measure number or two there. I'm going to start with the measure tool and select that and go to measure and then edit measure number regions, and then I'm going to delete all of the measure numbers. Alright, and so I've got rid of all of that, and I'm going to go ahead and add those basic D string notes now. And I'm just going to add those in really quick. I'm going to do them as half notes so that each measure then can be a separate page really quickly and easily. There we go. And so I'm working with less. I'm going to get rid of the rest of these. Double click on that measure right there. That highlights everything, and I hit Shift End, and that selects everything from where I'm at to the end, and I hit delete, and all the rest of that is gone. So now I'm going to select those measures. I hit Control C for copy, and make sure I don't have my filter on, and there we go. Now I've got viola notes. What's really nice about Finale in this way is Finale will detect when the notes are out of region, out of a good area for an instrument. So I'm going to hit Control V, and those notes are actually in the perfect place for the D string for a cello, because it took that note, that first note, and dropped it down an octave, and same for the rest. Now I'm going to do the same thing for bass, and so now I have all of my D string notes. Now each of these right here is going to be its own separate file, and I'm going to come. Now each one of these is a separate part. I'm going to pull up the violin right here. And the first thing I see from measure to measure is that there is a time signature. I want, again, all of these to look exactly the same. So I'm going to go and right click on that measure, edit measure attributes, and I'm going to say always hide the time signature. So there's no time signature now. The other thing that I'm seeing is that there is a final bar here. And I don't want that final bar to look any different from the rest of the bars. And so I think what I will do for this, different ways I could do it, I'm going to go ahead and make all of the bars invisible though. There we go. And for what I'm about to do, I want each measure as a separate new stave. So I just select it all, and I'm going to say fit measures per system. I'm going to go ahead and just do one. And now each of those is one single line long for one single note. And now what I want to do is I want to change my page layout here. I'm going to go ahead and start with the systems. And I'm going to say that all of my systems are going to have no top margin or bottom margin, and no distance between the systems either, which is going to shrink them down and make it look ugly and put them a little bit too close together. And that's all right, because what we're about to do is change things a little bit. I'm now going to, change these page margins. Let's do it as, just for right now, 1/4 of an inch. I think I'll be changing these in just a second. And let's do this for all pages. All right, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do page size. And for this, I'm going to make a custom size right here. So I want just one note per page. Let's do this as 1.5 inches wide, and let's say 3/4 of an inch tall. And we've got that selected for all pages, and there we go. All right, and it looks like each single note is now on its own page. So now I'm going to take and edit those page margins. Let me make a very small, let's say just 2/10 of an inch, and 1/10 of an inch, and 1/10 of an inch. And let's see, that's for all pages, and let's see how it looks, which is not too bad. I am noticing, so I decide that it's a little bit too much space, but otherwise I like the look of the margins and how it's looking. So I'm going to go ahead now and change my page size. Let's make this 6/10 of an inch tall and just 1 inch. Ooh, I bet we could make it even 3/4 of an inch. And not bad, although the bottom of the treble clef is being cut off. So now let me go through, and I'm just going to keep adjusting those until it looks to me to be about what I like. All right, and those look pretty good. I'm going to zoom in just to make sure. Ooh, there's a little bit of the treble clef that's being cut off. I can give that just a little bit more margin there. So let's do that for all pages. There we go. Treble clef's not being cut off on the top or the bottom. And I'd say, yeah, looks good. So those settings that I just did, I'm going to now take those and apply those for the rest of my parts. All right, and I've got these looking the way that I want. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to each part. Good, and let me select all with Control A. And I'm going to fit one per measure. There we go. For each part. The viola. And here is the cello. And the bass. So now they're all fitting one measure per system. Let me go back now. Let's get to our violin, because I'm going to take the settings that we have here, and I want to apply these to every part. So let's start with our systems, and we're going to edit margins. Let's do all, and we're going to apply this to viola and cello and bass. All right, I saw it working on something, so let's do the same thing now for page margins and all pages, and that same set, and saw it do something, so we should be good. And all pages, and select, and we've still got those all selected, and okay. And let's take a look. Here's the violin. Here's viola. Something funny's happened. Sometimes this happens if you get things out of order, which I always think is interesting. Oh, it just did it to, I see, it just did it to page 1. I must have not have selected that right there. Okay, and I did that to viola, and it should be good for the other ones as well now. Those look good. Let's check cello. Yep, did it for cello. And for bass, yep, and bass looks same good. So now I've got all these notes and it's all looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and save this now. Okay, and I saved that as D-string notes. Now let's go graphics. I'm going to export pages. And every time I come in here, I need to make sure. Good, okay, so this, let's click all. It's going to export all pages. And we're going to generate names for each one of these. You can do the prompt for each, but that means each time that you do it, it'll ask you for a new one. So I'm going to now edit this violin-dstring notes, and the hashtag there is computer code that's saying let's put in an automatic number. So the first one will be 001, the second one 002, and so forth. And when I do this, it's got it all. It's going to generate names, and I'm going to do a high resolution so I can use these more easily for the purposes of creating some nice looking flashcards. And when I hit OK, it went through pages 1 through 5, and now if I go to the folder that it had there, let's look. I should have violin. There we go. Violin-D string notes 001, 002, 3, 4, and 5. And now I can do the same thing to my other set of notes. One other quick tip that I want to give you and show you next time is that there is an add-on you can have for Google Sheets that is called ImageKit. And with ImageKit, you can actually upload a large selection of images. And if you've done your notes this way, you can have them put into a spreadsheet in the right order and have them all laid out in a Google Sheet. And I can show you guys that next time. But let me know if you found this was helpful or if there's any other things you'd like to learn about in Finale. And I will see you guys next time.